So the fastest way to get a breakthrough is to become that key person of influence. But here's the thing, let's break it down to its parts. What is the job of the key person of influence? So it's about sharing opinions and pitching ideas. Pitching ideas, let me give you some key things about pitching ideas. Number one, you've got to start pitching to groups. It's got to stop being one-to-one and it's got to start being groups. You've got to be pitching to groups at a time. Every communication that you engage in, you should be trying to get communication that goes to 50 to 250 people minimum every time you're out there pitching your ideas. So there's only about 250 work days in a year. If you met one new person a day, it would take you a year to get to 250 people. If you were to speak on this stage today, you're at about a year's worth of networking in one interaction. So it's that leverage. The other day I was on a podcast and I think it had 16,000 views as a YouTube, 16,000 views. I live in Wimbledon and Centre Court at Wimbledon is 16,000 people. That's how many people fit in Centre Court. If you get onto a podcast with 16,000 views, it's an entire Centre Court at Wimbledon of people who suddenly become privy to your ideas. So you've got to get into this habit of groups. You've got to be sharing your opinions with groups. And when I say opinions, you've got to get opinionated. Key people of influence have strong opinions on stuff. I want you to eradicate the words, it depends, right? No one wants to hear it depends, right? We want to hear, what's your opinion on this? What do you think I should do? What do you think should happen? So key people of influence are really good at opinions. Unfortunately, in 2022, your opinions are going to piss off half the people no matter what opinions you have, right? There's nothing we can agree on. So you're just going to have to pick some opinions that you feel comfortable with and just stand for those opinions. That's your opinion. Someone else is going to have a different opinion. Fine. Right? That's just how it's going to be going forward. So you're going to build a community of people who share your opinions. You'll probably have a few people who tell you that they disagree with your opinions. So the goal of pitching is getting groups of people aligned to new ideas and new actions. This is what you have to do as a key person of influence. Get groups of people aligned to new ideas and new actions. So here's a question for you. What idea or action do you want more people to be aligned to? I want you to just have a quick moment to think on this. What idea or what action do you want people to be aligned to? If I was to bring you up on stage and you've got 3 minutes to say, I want everyone in the room to do this. This is the new way of thinking. This is the new thing I want you to do. What would the guts of your presentation be about? What would you want to present? The idea here is that you want to get sharper at this. You want to get better at this. You want to get really nice and clear. How do we do it? Why do we do it? Who do we do it with? Right? So there's going to be all sorts of questions that spring from that central theme. I want you to do this, and I want you to think differently, and this is how I want you to think. I want you to do something different, and this is what I want you to do. Here's how to do it, why to do it, who to do it with, when to do it, right? All of those things. You want to get good at answering that. That's the opinions that you're going to have. That's what you're going to be out there pitching. Number two, when you're clear on this, once you're clear on this, a key person of influence is going to turn that into intellectual property and publish digital assets. So you're going to publish things like videos, podcasts, you're going to publish lists, blogs, articles, tweets, you'll probably publish a book, you'll have slide decks on this. So you want to start unpacking this into media and intellectual property. You want to create little diagrams and get those out there. You want to create little stories, get those out there. You want to create case studies, put them into a video, put them into a LinkedIn post, put them into a set of tweets, right, and get them out there. So key people of influence are taking what they pitch and they're turning it into a string of digital assets. So the key here is that we're publishing, as soon as we're clear about what it is we want people to think and do, we're publishing it into digital assets. If it's digital, it's going to transcend time, space, and wear and tear. So it'll transcend time because you'll record it today and it'll be available 10 years from now. It'll transcend space because you'll record it in London and it'll be available anywhere in the world that someone's got a connected device. And it'll transcend wear and tear because you'll record it one time and it'll be able to be played 1,000,000 times and lose 0% of its quality. So therefore, as soon as you've got clarity around your ideas, what do you want people to think, what do you want people to do, you're going to turn it into digital assets for the purpose of transcending time, space, and wear and tear. So to do that, we need to publish. Putting your ideas and your opinions into scalable digital assets and making them easily available to anyone who's got a connected device. What happens is that in people's heads, we've got this horrible thing called a limbic system that's a wonderful thing, and it is a filter, and it just filters everything out. So your brain will only listen to anything presented by a trusted source. So if you love Richard Branson and Richard Branson says something, you'll go, oh, okay, that's cool. I'll take that on board because Richard Branson said it. But if someone stopped you on the street with the exact same piece of advice, oh, you should push your employees into the swimming pool. You want me to do what? Right? The limbic system filters that stuff out, right? You're not gonna get engaged in what a complete stranger has to happen. So here's the key to being super successful as a key person of influence. You've got to become known, liked, and trusted to more and more people. Professor Robin Dunbar is the #1 expert on the whole planet as to how people form relationships and bonds. He's got something called the Dunbar's numbers. Basically says that we have these slots in our brain, and about 5 slots are for family, so we kind of slot together the family. Those of you who have families bigger than 5, there's one who you're kind of iffy about. Right? Then you've got about 15 who are your very close friends. These are the people who you'd call straight away if you had an issue, like something big that you needed to discuss. You've got 50 close friends. You've got 150 people who you call friends who you might invite to a birthday party. You've got 500 acquaintances who you remember how you met them. And you've got 1,500 people who you can put a name and a face to. That's the typical person. Those are called the Dunbar numbers. So here's the newsflash. No one's buying your stuff if you don't fit somewhere in there. If you're an unknown person to them, if they can't slot a name and a place to you, if they can't figure out how they know you, right, they're not buying from you. So the first goal of being a business, of being a key person of influence, is to clock up how many people am I in their Dunbar's numbers, right? So I wonder. So like think about how big is your LinkedIn following. So some of you have got a LinkedIn following of about 2,000 people. So you are probably within the Dunbar's numbers of about 2,000 people. As I said before, if you want to have about 500 clients, you need about 10,000 people who you fit in their Dunbar's numbers. If you want really perfect clients who resonate just with the stuff that lights you up, you're going to need something like that ratio. So realistically, you want a lifestyle business, you need to fit into about 10,000 people's Dunbar's numbers. Google looked at it a different way. How would Google look at it? They go into your search history and they say, before you bought that thing, how many times did you search for it or something similar to it? And they discovered that number's 11. So what they discovered is that when people buy a Louis Vuitton handbag, there's about 11 searches that lead up to the Louis Vuitton handbag purchase where you're checking it out on different websites, you're looking at different blogs and articles. So there's about an 11 touch point journey on average before people buy stuff. So this is another key thing. If you're not publishing enough stuff, you're not creating the 11 touch point journey for people to come and find you. So the way people are buying is that they go through their lovely little journey of 11 touch points. They then book an appointment, they interact, and then they buy something. So you've got to build that journey for people. You've got to work with human behavior, not against human behavior. So the key insights, people want to know faces. They want to know who's the person. They want 11 interactions before a sale. They want to spend time on getting to know you in the Dunbar's numbers, right? And then they will buy from you. So you've got to make it easy. The good news is you can do it digitally, right? So if people spend 7 hours online connecting with your brand, you will actually be in their friendship circle on the Dunbar's numbers. If someone who's had the experience where you've kind of run down the rabbit hole with a particular person, you've like discovered Marie Forleo and you like listen to her podcast and then you listen to her audiobook and then you watch her videos online and you're like, oh, I'm all over Marie at the moment, right? It's like, right? It sounds horrible when I say it like that. But who's done that? You've run down a rabbit hole of a particular person. Yeah, and for that period of time, and shortly after that period of time, that person's like a friend to you. If you spotted them on the street, you'd be like, hey, I've been reading your stuff recently, right? So that's what we want to do. So consider it to be a bit like this. This is the market, but we want to wedge out our own market through what we call 7-11-4. 7-11-4 is 7 hours of content that's out there, 11 strong interactions across 4 different platforms. So if we can have 7-11-4, we are going perfectly, right? And then we've got our own market. So how much time could I spend with you down the rabbit hole if I deep dive into your ideas? Let's say I'm interested in your ideas. I hear what the idea is and I go, I'm super interested in that. I'm going to pull out my phone and start reading. For how long can I read, watch, listen, or do stuff online on my phone? If the answer to that is less than 7 hours or 11 solid interactions, you don't have the digital runway required for people to get warm to your brand. You're not putting yourself in a position of being that key person of influence. Out of curiosity, who here you've got more than 7 hours? I could listen. Of course you do. Yep, you do. Yep. So quite a few of you are already there. A lot of familiar faces are there. Right? For those of you that you're not yet there, this is a major asset you need to build. Next one, key people of influence attract money to their business ecosystem. So think about the Eiffel Tower. The Eiffel Tower stands up there, doesn't really make a lot of money itself, but attracts a lot of people to Paris. A lot of people go to Paris because they want to see the Eiffel Tower. They're going to spend money in hotels and restaurants and cafes and museums. They're not going to spend money necessarily going on a little trip up and down the Eiffel Tower. They want to see it, but actually they spend their money around it. And it's the same as a key person of influence. That key person of influence is the Eiffel Tower for the business with a set of products and services around that. There's a key insight that you must distinguish in 2023 for a lifestyle business, and it's not what do you do, it's what do you bring to the table. So if you think about the pizza, you might be really good at producing the pizza and baking the pizza, but if people want you to also have a glass of wine at the table, right, then you need to be able to do both. You need to cook the pizza and bring the wine to the table. Imagine going to a pizza restaurant, you order a glass of wine and they say, we don't have any vineyards. That's not something we have. I don't know how to do winemaking. Right? It's like, well, just go next door to Tesco and just undo the, right? So bring it to the table. So what a lot of you do is you might have an IT business and you build websites and someone says, do you help with the copywriting? No. Do you do like the Facebook ads? No. Do you do photos and headshots and videos and all that stuff? No, we don't do any of that stuff. We just do the website. So you're good at baking the pizza, but you're not good at bringing other things to the table. The product ecosystem really comes alive when you start asking the question, not what do I do, which is component labor, what can I bring to the table that the customers want, right? So this is where we get really good at having a product ecosystem. You're going to be the Eiffel Tower and you're going to bring to the table the things that people want. Some of it's stuff that's yours, you can do. Some of it's stuff that you just bring to the table. Next one, key people of influence become known, liked, and trusted to more people. The key number, as I've said, you need about 5,000 to 10,000 people. That's going to be the lifestyle business minimum threshold. Most of you are going to need 5,000 to 10,000 people that you get known for. There's a couple of key tests here. Test number one, what does Google say about you? If I Google your name, does it fill up page one full of good stuff that I can run deep on? If I go and have a look at the big five social media platforms, do you feature on all five? This is important. Now, you may not necessarily be active on all five, but you should feature on all five. So, for example, create a decent looking Instagram and then signpost someone across to the platform that you're most active on. Maybe your business is not naturally a LinkedIn type of business, but have a LinkedIn presence and signpost people across to your YouTube channel. So you want to make sure that you're at least showing up on the big five and signposting people across. You want to win some awards so that people can immediately shortcut to this is an award-winning person, this is an award-winning company. People have got no time to do the research. They want someone else to have done the research. Good quality awards. One of them that all of you could go for is Investors in People. Investors in People is not one that you win. It's a standard that you achieve. Once you've achieved that standard, you can have Investors in People. Right? So it's something, obviously you need to have a team to assess, but it's a good one. There are several awards that are like that. I encourage you to get the book called Win, which is all about an awards strategy, or talk to August Awards, because they're going to take you and put you on a journey of winning awards. I would encourage all of you to start speaking more on stages. As I said, if you speak in front of 200 people, that's a year's worth of meeting people all at once. Yes, that is this room. Actually, it's the room upstairs. The goal of speaking is not to be in the spotlight. The goal of speaking is to become the spotlight. So your goal is not to say, look at me. It's to say, look at this. Look at those ideas. Look at these opinions. Here's what I want you to think. Here's what I want you to do. Right? So that's what we're doing speaking for. It's not look at me, look at me. It's look at this, look at this, look at this. Key people of influence, partner up. So this is a major point. You want to be able to partner up with other key people of influence. One of the coolest things that's been happening lately for me is I just went on this podcast roadshow where we just made it a commitment to get on other people's podcasts more often. And it's just been awesome. Like the ability to just tap into other people's audiences and do joint ventures and partnerships. It's been so great. So I want you to keep this in mind. Someone woke up this morning with the resources that you want, go and partner with them. So you probably want more money, more contacts, more fame, more know-how, more time, more credibility. All of those things somebody else already has. You don't need to go and learn and study and get an MBA or a PhD. Someone woke up with an MBA or a PhD, put them on an advisory board, right, for your business. And now you've got the credibility in an instant. You've got it this afternoon. Someone woke up with a ton of money and they're not sure what to do with it. Believe it or not, genuinely, that's a huge problem for a lot of people. If ever, some of you in the room have experienced it, if ever you exit a company and for years you've been like watching every penny and being super, like focused on everything, suddenly you've got millions of pounds in the bank. It's like, shit, what do you do with it? So there are lots of people who've got way too much money and not enough things to invest in, and they're looking for things to invest in. A friend of mine who I just caught up with just sold his company and walked away with over 58 million as his check in the bank. And he said, it's stressful having this much money. I've got to figure out what to do with it all. All right. Everyone keeps coming to me with new ideas about it. Oh yeah, I wasn't going to do that today. You want to find ways to structure partnerships. This is a really fun one, brand product distribution. So if you take a brand like Nike, they get someone else who's well known. They get a company that's good at making products, and they get a place that's good at selling products. They put those all together and they just create a campaign around it, and they bring those partnerships together in a campaign. This one, very famously, a brand that was failing, and they went and got George Clooney to be the face of it. They got Magimix to create the product, and they got Selfridges to be the point of contact, the distribution, and they just created the nice campaign around it, and it totally reinvented the brand. So one of the things you can do is you can run little events throughout the year. We call them spotlight events. We work with our clients on creating spotlight events where you get someone who's got a brand to come and be part of your business for the day. You get someone who's got a big list to promote that, and you get some people who've got other hot products to be part of that as well. So it's structuring. So there you have it. We have got the 5 Ps. These are the key things that you want to do to be a key person of influence. That's your job in that core team. If you want to have that lifestyle business, your job is to be that key person of influence, and then to have these 7 people on your core team who actually make that lifestyle business tick. So these are the key things to do.